Hello everyone and welcome to the season opener here at the Molson Modifieds in the NSDCA. We're ready for the Troyer 75 at Homestead. 25 laps ahead of us after 5 heat races and LCQ set our 30-car field for today's event. On pole, Adrian Rojas won Heat 1 after starting that pretty far back in that group. He will be on pole alongside him, the Mountain Dew Custom Series inaugural champion and 2-time runner-up last year in the championship fight, Peter Onjak. Behind them, our fan favorite, Benedict Mirdo III in the number 18, who was able to score a favorite win in heat number 3. Stephen Colin won heat number 4, and your defending Molson Modified champion, Alex Parker, rolls off in 5th. Rose Henson 6th, Larry Hagan 7th, Colin Teague 8th, Riley Wilkin 9th, and Matthew Eves 10th round out your top 10, and a whole other group of cars through this field. 30 cars in this event, 35 tried, 5 went home. In the LCQ, especially after that incident. 2 leeches did not make the field, and Logan Cloud, who was wrecked in both his heat and the LCQ, and Luke Evans, who just did not have speed in that number 68 car. Tony Wallen was slow all weekend long. He did not make the show. Neither did DJ Reed for the number 8 and Felix Jansen, who was involved in an incident early in the LCQ. Those 5 are the ones that went home. But it's Adrian Rojas for KRV Motorsports and Peter Onjak for Columbus Autosport on your front row. 25 laps ahead of us in the Troyer 75. Sure to be an exciting event. Let's go head down trackside and commands to fire the engines here at Homestead.
Is this on? Drivers, start your engines.
With that, the engines are fired. 30 cars roar to life for 25 laps here to decide who will be leading the points heading out of Homestead, as well who could be the Troyer 75 winner. Adrian Rojas looking to take himself to victory lane here, starting from the pole, but he's going to have to hold off a bunch of hard-charging drivers. Peter Onjak has made many starts at Homestead in the DPDS and Molson Modifieds. He is always one of the king leeches in the field, and he rolls off in second. Dominated his heat from the pole, was the second fastest in qualifying. Meanwhile, the fastest in qualifying this weekend was Gatlin Downey. He failed to race in through the heat. He had to make it to the LCQ. He starts in 29th. 25 laps is not a lot of time to get through the field, but it's sure to be exciting. For 25 laps, we are racing. Green flag is in the air at the Troyer 75. Leaders are going to be able to break away a little bit. Adrian Rojas in the 26 pulls away as Mirdo really being held up, holding up that inside line. You got Alex Parker, Larry Hagan, Riley Wilkin on the inside. That is 4 very strong drivers on that bottom. And of course, Mirdo in his first ever NSDCA start took home a 9th with Silver Wolf Racing at Mosport in the Crown Royal Truck Series. He is now going to be forced 3 wide by your defending champion, Alex Parker, who is on Zandervold Unlimited this year. And now everyone, you see how slick this track is. You're going to get real tight coming off the corners. It's a very big corner with these slow cars, as now they're sideways, and there goes Riley Wilkin. Larry Hagan already spinning in front of the field. Rain comes back up the track, back into it, and they all pile in on the front straightaway here, as now the track is blocked. Big crash on the opening lap as the 61 goes around. Heavy damage to them, and Allison Rain will be the first damaged car here this season. Everyone trying to get on through now. Now you got to try to form back up into line here. You got Anderson Reed down there. Riley Wilkin was up in 5th, already turned around in that 23 on lap number 1. It's going to lose him a lot of time, as that's really what this is going to be. A lot of these guys are rookies that have never driven in the NSDCA. Their first attempts in a Molson Modified were a couple weeks ago in practice. But really, now you got a couple torn up race cars. There's Anderson Reed, one of the leeches in the field for Penn Tech in that number 1. Interesting to note for this weekend, his entire race team is from the Pennsylvania School of Technology. He brought a bunch of his classmates here to work on that car this weekend, and it looks like they are going to have a nice time trying to repair that car now that it is pretty beat up after an opening incident. Everyone else is going to have to form on up, trying to get on through, so hopefully they will form up properly. No pit stops in the Troyer 75, of course. It's the Molson Modifieds. We'll see if we can get this race back green quickly, but we got to take a quick replay, see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day. Allison Rain going around on the front straightaway. First into the day here, Riley Wilkin on the inside with Allison Rain. You got Larry Hagan on the outside, who's going to really get on the gas, go up into Stephen Colin, back down across the field on lap 1, and spin Riley Wilkin around. Anderson Reed also gets a piece of that. couple more cars involved with Allison Rain in the 61 spinning in front. Kyle Bisceglia piles in and really just have nowhere to go that far back in the pack. But Allison Rain, an innocent bystander as well, just gets knocked into the inside wall. Big hit to the driver's side. Back up trying to save it and into Matthew Eves. Spins her across the front of the field. Anderson Reed makes heavy contact. More cars pile up. So hoping that a lot of these guys don't have as much damage and they can continue on in Troyer 75. Lights on the pace car go out this time by the NSDCA enforcing a bit of a quickie yellow system, taking down as many pace laps, removing as many pace laps as they can if there's no real pit stops or anything. That'll be further clarified in future events for Daytona next week. But 4 laps into this one, already a big incident involving multiple drivers. Adrian Rojas continues to lead, Peter Onjak second, Alex Parker third, Benedict Mirdo fourth, 5th Stephen Collins, 6th Rose Henson, 7th is Joshua Harrison for the 34 team. Larry Hagan remains in 8th, Matthew Eves 9th, Allison Rain 10th. Those two, because they spun basically across the start-finish line, they get to keep those positions. The Molson Modifieds does not do the Fago free pass system that's new this year, nor will they send lap cars to the back, so it is the same restart procedures we've seen in the past for the Molson Modifieds, but we do have the green-white checkered rule here as well. Coming down the front straightaway, green flag's back in the air. Rojas is going to get the jump. We'll see what happens now. 21 laps to go at Homestead. Already into the corner, Mirdo looking to the inside in that 18, making a move on Alex Parker for third. Up the track is going to go Henson and Colin. That's the battle for that 5th spot as they come off the corner. Onjak all over the back of Rojas. This is Rojas' first time racing in a Molson Modified points event. This is Onjak's, I think, 2nd time racing in one, but he has over 100 starts in the NSDCA combined over the last 6 years. He's now to the inside of Rojas, and he's going to take that race lead away, give it to Peter Onjak. He has never won in a race that he has leached in. And right now, this could be the first time he does, with Mirdo pushing him down the front straightaway. The fans on their feet. We're finally seeing a lap of green flag racing. No incident that time. We stay clean and green for at least 1 lap here. Still 20 to go as you see Wilkin going 3 wide with, I believe that's Stottlemyre down there. Chris Stottlemyre started this race pretty far back. 27th. He's now up inside the top 15 for KRV Motorsports. That is a teammate to your race, or not to race leader, but to Adrian Rojas. As you see Rain, that damaged 61 is dropping right to the back. Probably going to finish this race last. It's very damaged. You see the spoiler really messed up on that. That's really got to mess with your aerodynamics. Anderson Reed also at the back. He came down pit road under that last caution to try to repair that car, so it's not going to be running at full song anymore. There's McDermott now trying to hold off Chris Stottlemyre, who has been charging through the field. This 15 car is bad fast right now as he's going to make contact with McDermott. They're both on the apron sideways all the way through the corner, and what a save by the 09. Almost got it looped around there. That could have been a big one, but wow, Stottlemyre getting really aggressive in that 15, and that's how he drove in the LCQ as well. Drove very aggressively to get through that pack and on up. So Stottlemyre looking like he could be a possible front runner this year, possibly an evil figure there in the series if he's really messing up everyone and just moving everyone out of the way. Top 5 now getting single file, 2nd through 5th right under a blanket right here. Is now Rojas is going to look under Alex Parker and Benedict Mirdo the 3rd. All of this top 5 are all the Heat 1 through 5 winners, as that's basically how they started, but they are showing that they have the pace, they have the speed, but I don't know if you have enough pace to catch up to one of the best of all time to ever do it, Peter Onjak there, as Mirdo throws a block on Rojas down the back straightaway, going a bit defensively now into turn number 3, trying to block that inside move as Alex Parker's trying to use that outside line to his advantage there in that number 21, and I think it might work. The defending champion knows how to get it done on all of these tracks and in a modified, and he's going to take that 2nd spot away with a powerful outside move. What a drive now, as Parker, he was 7th in his heat at one point, and 2 laps later he was leading the thing. So this car is fast. He knows that he might have a shot to catch up to Onjak, but Onjak is now starting to pull away in that number 444. We're going to get a flyby coming off the corner here. Onjak out in front. Parker, Mirdo, Rojas, and Colin, your top 5, as most of the field now starting to get single file, at least through the corner. That's really what you want to do. You don't need to get too aggressively. You see Allison Rain and Anderson Reed at the back here, both damaged up. Their days of being competitive pretty much over. Now Parker versus Mirdo. That's for that 2nd spot. We'll see if Mirdo can get the run, but they are losing a lot of ground to Onjak right now. Already a second between them is Rose Henson. She's going to make it 3 wide down the front straightaway. Maybe not, though. Reeves is going to pull away, but now Joshua Harrison on the outside is trying to hang on. You got Colin Teague in the 123 right behind Rose Henson in that 86. Is one car way up the track. That's your pole sitter, Adrian Rojas, who's going to go very wide. Look at Larry Hagan. Spun out earlier. Has some damage to the left side of that car. And he's right now fighting inside the 5th position if he can get it done on the 26 here. So Hagan could still be a threat and could pull a DJ Curtis, pull a spin and win in this race. But it's going to be hard to stop Peter Onjak, who's now opened up to about a 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field. Colin Teague has been pretty good at Homestead, had 2 great qualifying runs, ran well in his heat. He's inside the top 10, fighting Joshua Harrison for that 9th position. You got Griffin Lappel McDermott right behind them, Ricky Freeman Jr., Matthew Eves, another leech in the field there for Sladek Motorsports Group. Alex Fletcher 14th. A bit of a pack forming up here right behind Lotus Disparito, Colton Jacobs. Chris Stoudemire starting to lose some spots. Riley Wilkin trying to gain as many spots as he can in that damaged number 23. You also got Mathis Wells in the 62. Of course, he was a Mountain Dew Custom Series competitor a few years ago. Went to Smart Motorsports in the DPDS. Now he's at Cyclone in both the DPDS and MMS this year. So trying to rebuild his career, at least keep his career alive there, driver of that number 62. Kyle Bisceglia, a pole sitter, fastest qualifier in the DPDS events. He is right now running in the 21st position, not too good on the modified side. There's Gatlin Downey, who was the fastest driver in qualifying here. Not looking too good when he's in traffic. Very slow at the back. He's 24th only. William Duncan right there as well. But it's hard to pass here. It's hard to get passes done, especially in the actual race. The heats, everyone's going aggressively. But in the race, you're kind of, you got 25 laps. It's the longest event of the season. You got to take care of your equipment and try to be there at the end to make the moves instead of trying to make that move on lap 1 and pull away from the field. Alex Parker, though, is also pulling away and starting to close in slowly onto Peter Onjak. It's going to be an uphill battle for him, especially with Onjak just being so fast right now. He's been the most consistent driver this weekend, second fastest in qualifying, led his heat all 7 laps and won, pulled away here, and now he's pulling away here in the Troyer 75 as well. But Onjak right now trying to hang on over the Molson Modified defending champion Alex Parker. And we'll see if Parker can go for 2 in a row. Adam Mitchell is the only driver that came close to getting 2 DPDS or Molson Modified championships. He almost won the MMS title last year, but it was Alex Parker that took that one home as they go. So Parker right there, he almost won the DPDS title last year too, would have made history doing that, being the first 2-time champion in the regional divisions of the NSDCA. But if you notice those intervals, every lap he's knocking about a 10th or 2 off of Onjak's pace. So the real question is, you don't take tires here in the Molson Modifieds. Did Peter waste his tires? Did he burn them up already in that 444? Or is he just, he has a 1.5 seconds up and it's slowly going down, but is he just trying to conserve that equipment? Because you got to make it last to the end. In the Cup Series, the Truck Series, it's still long races, but you have those opportunities to pit, especially under cautions. In the Molson Modifieds, if you pit, your day's probably over. Battle for 4th starting to heat up as Rojas gives Hagan a bit of a bump through the corner there in that 26 and 81. Hagan's going to clear into 4th. Battle for 5th now between Mirdo and Rojas. 2 foreign drivers there. A German-born driver in Benedict Mirdo at least in that number 18 car. Now getting passed by Adrian Rojas there for that 5th position. Rojas doing pretty good. He's not going to win this race, obviously, as now you see Parker's lost 0.3 on Onjak that time by. He's not going to win this race, but he's showing very well that he is a strong driver, at least on these speedways, so that could be good in the future. KRV Motorsports, of course, is owned by Daniel Kobza, who is very tied to Onge Auto, which could easily see Rojas getting an Onge Auto seat somewhere if he performs well enough there in that 26. Looking a bit further back, Rose Henson having a bit of trouble with that 34 of Joshua Harrison, but there is the big first battle there. Colin Teague in the 123 fighting Nelson Reeves, Ricky Freeman Jr. right there, Lotus Disparito. Oh man, Reeves is going to throw a big block on Teague trying to keep it there. It's not going to stick as Teague's going to run him up the track. Side by side now, that's going to be for the 9th position is Ricky Freeman Jr. in that number 10 looking just behind. Lotus Disparito there with Griffin Lappel McDermott. Of course, Disparito is... Disparito is not the team owner. They just run for Silver Wolf Racing pretty often. Is now the 10 of Freeman's going to go way outside, and he's going to lose a lot of ground. You cannot make any run, if you're out of that the dark groove there, if you're on that very outside of the corner, you're going to lose a bit of time. That's what he's going to do, lose 2 spots to the 09 and 181 right there. Perry Brand moving up as Matthew Eves starts to move back. Riley Wilkin, Chris Stottlemyre. So it looks like Stottlemyre's run through the field is kind of stalled out. He did pick up a lot of positions racing to the caution, though. That's really what that was. There's Ryan Butcher in the 00 for HBP, Kyle Bachelia, William Duncan. And a lot of these drivers, really, we do not have many full-time drivers this year in the Molson Modifieds. I think only 22 cars are full-time. We had 35 enter this event. And out of those 35, I believe 12 of them were leeches. So, yeah, that'd be about 23 full-time cars. And we got 25 to a field. That's your max field for the Molson Modifieds is 25. So we're easily looking at maybe no DNQs this year and even smaller fields. There's still teams that didn't enter a modified for this weekend that could still theoretically do so as this season progresses. But right now, we have a very few amount of drivers actually fighting for the title this year. DPDS, on the other hand, pretty full up. I think there's about 38 full-time entries for 30 car fields over there. Stephen Cole and Adrian Rojas. Now this is going to be the fight for the 4th position. Joshua Harrison catching up to Benedict Mirdo for the 6th spot, as the top 3 have now pulled away, as Larry Hagan in 3rd is starting to catch up just a little bit to Alex Parker. We're down to just 7 laps to go. 1.75 is the gap between the 444 and the 21. Don't think that's going to come down anytime soon. But, again, you saw in the heats, Ryan Butcher was really able to drive down Felix Janssen and take his spot away for that 5th position. And I believe it was heat number 4. Is now Rojas is going to go to the inside of Colin, side by side down here into turn number 3. We'll see if he can make that move stick for 4th. Colin's going to run that middle line, and as I said, you can probably run right where he is. That's about as high as you really want to go. He's going to arc the corner and try to pinch that 26 down, but they're going to have a drag race coming down the front straightaway here, coming to 6 laps to go in the Troyer 75. But I don't think, with the difference between Peter Onjak and Alex Parker, I don't think that's going to come down, and it might just be Onjak's race to lose at this point. Now, the other question is, the Molson Modifieds was the first series to run green-white checkered finishes. Of course, the Sundrop Cup Series joined them last year as well, and the Crown Royal Truck Series will be getting those green-white checkered finishes soon. There is Allison Rain. Just wanted to point that out. I saw it at the screen. So Rain will be caught and lapped by Peter Onjak. That might be the only chance Parker will have, barring no caution. If we have a caution, you go to the green-white checkered finish. You got 2 laps to try to beat Peter Onjak. And this year it is 3 chances at a green-white checkered. So if they wreck before they take the white flag, they will throw the caution and go again for yet another green-white checkered finish. So Onjak's not safe in the clear yet. Not until the checkered flag. Of course, it's the NSDCA. Anything can happen. We've seen drivers blow up on the last lap, lose positions. And in these modifieds, you can't trust anything. But this Peter Onjak, number 444 for Columbus, it was probably the last entry confirmed for the field. He did not have plans on running the Troyer 75 until about a week or 2 before this. And now he's in the race lead, 1.6 seconds up over the defending champ Alex Parker, and ready to take this one home with just 4 laps to go, 4 miles to go here at Homestead. Well, no, I think this is a mile and a half. So 4 laps to go here at Homestead. Peter Onjak out in the race lead. Alex Parker now, his old team owner, Larry Hagan, back there in the 81 car, starting to chase him down. Parker having a great run. This will set him up nicely running into the championship fight here. It's only 8 races, so you got to finish good when you can. And right now, he has a couple full-time Molson Modified drivers around him. You got Parker in 2nd, Adrian Rojas in 4th. As Rain actually, Onjak got by her pretty quickly, but slows him down. And that's going to bring Parker into the mix real quick. And that 61, of course, is what Parker drove last season. It looks like Parker's going to make it easy work of her. And now he is just 7/10 behind. So he just lost about a second there, Onjak did, trying to work around the 61. And now Parker could have a shot at him. If he goes, he just has to push a bit harder. But Alex Parker has gotten into this race. And we got 2 laps to go. Next time by, could we see Parker get up there? Only 7/10 now as he has caught the draft of Onjak. And that's big at this big track. These cars are so slow that the draft could be key. Now Parker is going to use that outside line, trying to mount any momentum he can. And if he could get a run off the corner, which he does almost, he's going to pick up maybe another couple tenths here. So 2 laps to go. Onjak is not safe anymore. It's down to half a second between them now, so that's 2 tenths gain last time. Parker's going to send it in, and here we go. This is going to be the battle for the race win right here. Onjak up front, Parker in second. Caution, that's a yellow flag. Alex Fletcher's around. We're going to have a green-white checkered finish. And Onjak's going to have to defend for 2 laps at least to win this race as Alex Parker gained so much time. Now he's going to have a shot at Peter Onjak right here. He's going to go very wide, just trying to get something. But we will be under caution for a green-white checkered finish here to the Troyer 75. And it looks like Peter Onjak is not out of the woods yet. He's going to have to fight on this restart against your defending champ, Alex Parker. Larry Hagan, Adrian Rojas, Stephen Colin also up there. Rain's going to be right there, the 6th car in line, pretty slow. So this group of drivers probably won't be able to get up there. But again, it's pretty hard to pass here. Looks like Lotus Disburrito in the 181 also has some rear end damage. I think Perry Brand was also involved in it. But I know Alex Fletcher was in the 72 with some heavy damage. So we're going to have to see what happened to bring out this second caution of the day. But this changes everything. Peter Onjak is going to have to fight Alex Parker for this race win. Really, and Larry Hagan, Adrian Rojas, Stephen Colin. So the top 5 outside of Hagan all won their heats. Mirdo's back in 6th. He's the other one that won the heats. So these are fast cars up front. We'll see if Onjak can hold on. But first, we got to take a replay. See what happened to bring out this caution. This incident's going to bring us to the first green-white checkered of the season. Nelson Reeves just squeezes himself to the inside of Lotus Disburrito, and now Disburrito's driver, Griffin Lampo McDermott's going to get right into the back of her and turn her around in front of some of the guys in the field into the outside wall. Alex Fletcher gets hit, and then Perry Brand hits him in the side, and Fletcher goes for a wild tumble down the front straightaway there and ends on all 4s. But his day is going to be done, and we're hoping he is okay after a very vicious crash here on the front straightaway. Just nailed in the driver's side, popped on his side, and he goes for multiple flips. Alex Fletcher, heavy crash here. We go to the green-white checkered finish in the Troyer 75. Lights on the pace car go out this time by. It's going to be a 2-lap dash to decide the winner of the Troyer 75 right here. Peter Onjak, your race leader. Alex Parker, Larry Hagan, Adrian Rojas, and Stephen Colin are your top 5. Allison Rain came down pit road under caution, so she is out of this front group. William Duncan has retired from the event. A fuel system issue. Looks like the car just could not go into overtime here in the NSDCA. But we are getting ready to go racing once again. Onjak trying to hang on over Alex Parker. Can Parker get by Onjak and win this race? Larry Hagan sitting in 3rd. Adrian Rojas 4th. Stephen Colin 5th. Really, outside of that top 3, you're probably not going to win it unless you dive it into turn 1. So we might see some aggressive moves from some drivers here. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be 2 more laps around this course. About 1.5 minutes to get around in those 2 laps. Onjak leads us down, trying to win the Troyer 75. Green flags back in the air. We got 2 laps to decide it. Rojas going to make that early move to the inside of Hagan. Look for the 3rd position. He might not win it, but he wants to lead the points. If he can get by Alex Parker there in that 21. Now Parker is not going to be anywhere near Onjak right now. Rojas and Colin fighting now for that 4th position as Onjak pulls off the corner, taking off in that 444, trying to win this race. Now Hagan coming back under Rojas, side by side down into turn number 3 for 3rd. Parker back there in 2nd as Colin gets sent very far by Harrison as he makes contact with Rojas, moves the 26 out of the way. Rojas is going to lose a ton of time there as now Mirdo's going to drop back. 2 by 2, 3 wide through this field. White flags in the air for Peter Onjak in the 444. Top 3 pulled away. Colin now with Rojas all over the back of him. Harrison and Teague also in this fight. Reeves, Mirdo, Rose, that's your top 10. Big move by Mirdo on the outside. Going to pick up 2 spots there in 1 corner. But down the back straightaway, here comes Parker to the inside. They're going to be side by side into 3. This is for the win of the Troyer 75, the season opener of the Molson Modifieds. Onjak up the track. He's going to try to run that outside line as best as he can. Parker's going to fight back. too little, too late. Coming out of turn number 4, Peter Onjak in the 444. He's going to take home the win at Homestead. A dominant performance. Onjak wins the Troyer 75. Alex Parker tried at the very end, dove it into turn number 3, but Onjak threw it in there, used the outside line, got it to stick. And for the first time in his career, he has won a race in not the top series division. He has now a Molson Modified win, a Mountain Dew Custom Series, Crown Royal Truck Series, and Sundrop Cup Series victory. All that's left for the driver of the 444 is one DPDS race win, and he will have won in all 5 divisions of the NSDCA. Very good performance by a couple drivers. Adrian Rojas getting real aggressive and getting pushed out of the way down there at the end of this one. Larry Hagan from a spin to a 3rd place finish. You also got Chris Stottlemyre, started this race 27th, fought his way to 10th. And a few other underdog performances there. You got Robert O'Reilly continuing to drive around the track, but Peter Onjak has come home with the race victory in the 444. Rojas, your pole sitter, he comes home 5th after that one. But Onjak dominated that race. He's for sure deserved the race win in the 444 for Columbus Autosport. It's been a while since Columbus has gone to victory lane. They've got to be celebrating as well. Alex Parker, P2, will lead the point standings coming out of this for the Molson Modified Series. And all that's left, we got the DPDS coming up next with their heats and the LCQ, and of course the A-Main, the Fields 100 for the 3rd straight year at Homestead. Pretty exciting race to watch here today at Homestead. We thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys will be here all season long. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.